Hi! Hello everyone, this is Aegon of Astora, and welcome back to my blind playthrough of Elden Ring. This is episode number 35, being recorded on the 22nd of March, 2023. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, whenever it is you find yourself watching this. So, it is 7:02 in the morning. I said either in the previous episode or the episode prior to that that was most likely the earliest I had ever recorded. I don't know if that was actually true. It's certainly true now. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning and just could not get back to sleep. So I'm not starting work until 9 a.m. I decided I would, if I'm just going to be lying there in bed wide awake, might as well get up and get a head start on this week's episode. And I say this week's episode because, essentially what I've been doing, and I know a lot of people at the time of recording are frustrated with the pace of the series. And I'm partially to blame for that, not because of the pace at which I'm recording, because I'm recording as fast as I can, but because I included those disclaimers at the start of the episode, the first, 25, 30 episodes, which said that the playthrough was pre-recorded in its entirety, which I thought it would be, but I had no meaningful sense of how absolutely gargantuan and massive the world was at that time. So now that I obviously do know that, it's a matter of just ensuring the, what's the term I'm looking for? So this is going to be a problem. And so that's why this is an experiment, because 7 a.m. my mind is not fully operating at capacity yet, or operating at full capacity yet, I should say. But yeah, essentially what I've been doing is trying to record at least one episode a week. To maintain the integrity of the blind playthrough. That's the phrase I was looking for. Which is to say, I need to maintain enough of a distance between the episode that is currently public, the most recent episode that is currently public, or the latest episode that I've made public, and, where I am actually in the playthrough. And as of right now, I think we are 13 episodes ahead, something like that. So essentially I'm trying to ensure that I can record at least one episode a week. I think one episode a week is probably best case scenario right now. It's been a few weeks in a row where I have been able to do one episode, although there was one weekend where I did two. Although one of those episodes was a bit shorter. So anyways, all of this is to say, I guess I shouldn't be too concerned about the people who are, because, a couple of people have commented saying things like, I don't know if I can maintain my interest for that long. And, obviously I took that to heart, which is why I'm saying all this to each of you now. But also at the same time, I've thought about it. I really should not care. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound flippant or rude or anything like that, but if you can't maintain your interest, I'm not really sure that that's my problem. There are plenty other things to watch and do, and so, if you want to go watch and do something else, you're more than welcome to. I don't know why I let that get to me, but anyways, as I've established in the past, I am a bit sensitive in general, and perhaps too sensitive for someone who creates content for YouTube, but I digress. So, you'll notice, of course, we're not starting in Nokron, the Eternal City, and there's a reason for that. And the reason is that... Oh, leave me alone, bat friend, please. Don't want to start another pandemic here. The reason... What is this beacon there for? Oh, why did it? Oh, okay, never mind. So I remember why I set that. And the reason why I set that is the same reason we're here, which is, as you can see, we have found the homing instinct painting, or at least the landscape which served as the inspiration for the homing instinct painting. And the reason why I set this beacon was to sort of, I suspected, based on the location of Seaside Ruins, essentially, I've talked a lot about different mapping techniques and whatnot in this. This is, and perhaps mapping isn't quite the right term. In qualitative research, one of the ways of ensuring sort of the validity of your data is to use triangulation, is what it's called, essentially. So 3 different types of data collection, using it all to sort of test the same hypotheses. And, so you triangulate your data, you validate it by having the same conclusions essentially being drawn from multiple different means of investigating those hypotheses. And in this instance, you can see pretty clearly this is the landscape being depicted. There are the gravestones there, the trees. This is exactly what is being depicted. And yet, I don't see any ghost friends. Unless I just have the angle all wrong. Like, is it over here or something? And so all of this has me wondering, did I at some point come across the ghost friend and just completely miss it? Or did I pick up the item and not realize what I was picking up? Because when we got the... So as you might imagine, my wife and Aurelia of Astora are fast asleep in the next room. So, I can't be too loud here. But anyways, this, I sort of stumbled, I didn't stumble upon it. I was actively searching for this off camera. The site of this painting, or the landscape which inspired it, trying to find the specific spot where the painter would have been situated. And, I'm reasonably certain it's here. Likely friend. Didn't expect, so I assume this would have been where the painter was. Oh, you know what? I do have a second build. So maybe we should, and, the second build is in Limgrave. So maybe we should, because I'm just too curious now. Although there's also the question of whether the ghost will show up if you have not yet seen the painting. So I'm curious enough, though, just to double check. Okie dokie. I think we were about here. So this is F. And F is labeled as such. F is labeled as such only because, I was quickly trying to create a build in order to get a thumbnail. I think I wanted to get a thumbnail of Princess Ronnie when she shows up at the Church of Ella. Oh gosh, the ghastly screams. Yeah, there's so many elements of this game where early on I was just, excuse me, so afraid of everything that now I'm looking at it and I'm just like, okay, so there's nothing here. However, it's possible that you do in fact need to find the painting first. I guess I'm not curious enough. What did I do with the face of this friend? I completely forgotten what I did with this. I'm eating a very sour gummy here, so you have to excuse me. Oh, man. Yeah, F for F, everyone. We go from the concave face of F to the convex face of regret. That's good. Okay. Oh. Corpses just spawning in. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to look at briefly before we continued in Nokron is this. So, this appears to be looking north from the shoreline at Stormvale Castle. So, I'll do what I did. And so, yeah, the whole thing about triangulation, essentially, no, that's not what I want. Essentially with triangulation in, you know, the way I've been using it in a mapping sense, what I've been doing is, you know, you look for the various different features in the painting and then you try to line them up. And yeah, you more or less, if you were here and you saw the episode in which I finally found the painting that was in Liurnia of the Lakes, then you sort of saw that happening in real time, the process through which I was trying to do that in real time. Please leave me alone. But yeah, I'm just thinking about this one and whether I want to actually spend my time looking for this. I think this might be from below. I wish there were a way to zoom in on this in-game instead of having to do it in post. Because... yeah, that's exactly what it is that we're looking at. These land octopuses are really keen on attacking me. So yeah, I am not sure. This one is, I think, a little bit more difficult to actually triangulate. Unless it's just from down here. Okay. Though again, I have been down here. I remember specifically making a video of the penguins down here. Thank you for the rating, friends. Although, you know what? Where we're standing, the angle is actually too extreme. So it couldn't be this far down. So yeah, I'm really not sure. Yeah, the angle's too extreme here. You can't actually see Stormvale Castle. Oh no. Gosh darn it. Unless it's on the other side or something. It was like, you know, guys, I have this technique called triangulation. It makes it real easy to find things. And, and then I immediately demonstrate that it's not so simple. So I feel like this is that the angle? Not quite. So I think it is over on that side. Let's see. I couldn't remember where there was another Aegon statue. Held in the clutches of the roots. I think this is such a cool statue. And the imagery, you know, as I mentioned previously, it also invokes the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, and sort of the motif of sacrifice that goes along with it. Be wary of... Oh, we found it, friend! Yes! Yes, that's your painting! Wow, good job, friend. Well done. Oh my gosh, I can't believe... Oh, right. That's the Mistwoods. Okay, so that's the spot. I was wondering why there were just rocks floating in the air. Warhawk Ashes. Ashen remains in which spirits yet dwell, used to summon the spirit of a warhawk, spirit of a Stormvale warhawk, the talons of which have been sliced off so that razor-fine swords could be grafted in their place. The talons, oh, that's brutal. With its lord vanquished and its wings wounded, the hawk perished as it solemnly gazed at its former home. The storm is a warhawk's cradle. So in other words, they were sort of forged by the storm. Okay, well, as far as I'm concerned then, I believe we found all three paintings. Because, you know, that first one, I don't see how it could be anywhere else. That is exactly the way it appears in the painting. So, yeah. Alrighty then. I feel good. I hope you do as well, goat friends. Oh, see you later. Okie dokes. So I have about 40 minutes left in theory. So we could, because one thing, the idea of the Stormhawk, it brings to mind Nefeli Lu. So maybe we'll go to the Roundtable Hold and see if she has anything to say about our new Stormhawk. And if she doesn't, then I'll just warp straight to the next location, or cut straight to the next location, I should say. Yep, nothing new from Nefeli Lu. Suppose I shouldn't be surprised. She's still talking about smelling the ancient storm in those ashes that we already have given her. So, off camera, I went and grabbed my runes after finishing the recording for the previous episode, so I now know where we went wrong in that episode where we fell to our death. In truth, I was rushing because I could see that Aurelia of Astora was up, and I wanted to, you know, wrap things up and go. Give my wife a hand. Okay, were they legitimately glitching out last time? Because this time... Oh. I was going to say this time they don't seem as keen to just walk off, and then there they go. It's eerie as all heck, though. Oh, we got those ashes last time. Okay, we should... I was gonna say we should equip it, but I've realized it's not upgraded at all. Mimic tier ashes. HP cost is 660. How much HP do we have? 1450. I guess that's not too bad, especially when you consider how much we have in our flask. Yeah, because I'd be very curious to see what it looks like fighting alongside another version of myself. And by myself, I mean regret. And I will not regret that, I don't think. Okay, so... say I remember, or I know where I went wrong, but... okay, we did get this item, which suggests that we did go over there. After which I believe we came back. Oh, the bloodstains, my goodness. Eerie as heck. So yeah, in that last episode, right at the end, I wasn't fully there. Now I think we are. Well, at least insofar as I can be fully there while being basically half asleep. There's a chest in there. These ghost flame statues. I love the aesthetic of this place. It's funny, in the previous episode I was laughing about, like, you know, my indecision with respect to the thumbnail. And then at one point I was like, oh, well, I say there's no obvious choice for the thumbnail. There is an obvious choice, and I'm definitely picking this one. And then in the end I ended up picking a different thumbnail entirely than even that one. So just goes to show that there was just so much, you know, hideous beauty, but beauty all the same in this area. Maybe hideous isn't quite the right word. I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for is. Nice, well played. I'll give you a rating for that. Had me for a second there. Okay, so, oh yeah, so we did deal with this friend. The Swordstress. Oh, crud. Thankfully, she was a bit slow on the draw. So we dealt with that friend. And then we jumped out a window. Right, okay. It's here. That's not one of the mimic tiers, I don't think. And then here I got confused and I was like, okay, well, we can go down there, and then where do we go from there? But in fact, there's just an open window right here. So that was, yeah, I felt really silly when I went back later to retrieve my runes and realize my error. Nox Flowing Hammer. Mace shaped like a suspended metal droplet wielded by monks of the Eternal City. Forged from liquid metal from a silver tier, it is thoroughly tempered until hardened. Unique skill, Flowing Form, temporarily transforms armament into its liquid form. Swing the armament like a whip to strike surroundings before slamming its teardrop-shaped head down. So basically, this is like, what if T-1000 from Terminator 2 was a weapon? Liquid metal. That's pretty cool. Something I perhaps didn't dwell on in the previous episode as much as I should have, given my prior interest in the Erdtree avatars, is the whole idea, or not the idea, the confirmation, I suppose, in this item description, which confirmed that the avatars emerging in the wake of the Elden Ring's shattering were determined to protect the withering Erdtree's offspring. So, in other words, the minor Erdtrees are the Erdtree's offspring, which, you know, I think we knew, but just to state the obvious, I suppose, because the obvious was confirmed, and that the avatars, yeah, were seemingly, again, I argued, I think it was episode 21, that the avatars were essentially part of a hive mind, and I think that more and more that's being confirmed with the things that we have seen in the game after that point, after I made that argument. But yeah, I suppose it still remains to be seen who or what is behind that hive mind. And I suppose a hive mind is a hive mind. There's not necessarily any one thing behind it, but it seems to me anyway that the greater will is sort of the force responsible for the hive mind. Okay, I'm not sure how we should manage this, but I think a jumping attack is probably the smartest course of action. I'm wondering, is this similar to the things we saw, those balls we saw from the Raya Lucaria sorcerers? Or is it literally just a giant boulder? Oh my gosh, it's literally just a giant boulder. Well played, friends. Night Maiden Twin Crown. What was this dust? Whew. That was close. Larval tear, wow. So they're just dropping larval tears here. Twin crowns, worn by the Night Maidens of the Eternal City, indicates the highest clerical rank and hides the eyes with silk. Long ago, the Nox invoked the ire of the Greater Will and were banished deep underground. Now they live under a false night sky in eternal anticipation of their liege, of the coming age of the stars, and their Lord of Night. So that sounds a lot like the idea of the Night King in A Song of Ice and Fire / Game of Thrones. In the television series Game of Thrones, the Night King was said to be the leader of the quote-unquote White Walkers, or as they're called in the books, the Other. In the books, I think it's a bit less clear, because, you know, in the series they did that a lot. They combined characters that were, you know, not necessarily the same person. They just simplified things more generally in a way that, you know, didn't always sort of capture the nuanced complexities of the original. Grace ahead, thank you. What's behind, though? I think we've got everything here. Unless there's something behind this, like, no. But yeah, in the books, it's the Night King is a character that is spoken of and discussed, but what the heck is going on here? I don't think that's supposed to be happening. But it's not clear that the Night King, if I recall correctly, it's not clear that the Night King necessarily has anything to do with the Others or the White Walkers. Night's Sacred Ground. So if there's any time to use these ashes, it's now. I love it. I absolutely love it. Can you imagine the fear to be struck in your... if you, like, walk down a dark alley and these two friends were facing you? I would just turn around and walk in the other direction completely. Absolutely just wonderful. Oh gosh, there's gonna be nothing over here, isn't there? Oh no. Sorry, Mimic dear friend. And watch, after all that, we sacrificed our Mimic tier friend and there's gonna be absolutely nothing. Praise the research, turn back. No, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. We sacrificed poor Mimic Tier friend. For nothing. Oh, crud. This is bad. Hi, friends. Don't mind me. Okay, let's try again. Yeah, so again, there's all sorts of, like, in this game, just the various different ways in which the different factions in the world are essentially desecrating bodies and just... So these larval tears, as soon as they hit you, seemingly, they take on a different form. Or do they all just take on a form regardless? Because it looks like they might have predetermined forms that they're taking on. But it's almost like they require... Oh, yeah, maybe just predetermined forms. Unless it has something to do with when they hit you. Golden Rune level 7, very nice. So let's see. Take that one out. They did not hit us. Oh. Oh. Well, that's not very nice. Only let me use my own my own weird sort of shadow clone for a few minutes, and that's it. No more. Okay. Was not expecting that. Oh, crud. Messed that up. I'm curious as to why the giant wasn't, because I feel like the other larval tears have that sort of liquid metally look, whereas the giant just looked like a normal giant as soon as it sort of rose out of the larval tear form. So is the suggestion here that that massive friend there is part giant or something? I'm not sure if that's what we're meant to sort of take from that. Because that's definitely giant adjacent. Of course, there's a sending gate there. Corpse, oh corpse. So yeah, I think this experiment, at least thus far, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I have somewhat of a presentation to give later today at work. And so I suppose, and maybe that's the reason why I was a bit anxious, woke up at 4:30 and just could not get back to sleep. So we'll see. Maybe I will regret this later on today at that presentation, end up screwing it up or something like that. But yeah, as of yet, I think maybe worst case scenario, if I'm really struggling to find time for recording, I can just wake up early 1 or 2 days a week, record for an hour, and then there's my episode. I've been aiming for a minimum of 2 hours. Because, yeah, those 3-hour recording windows on a single day I used to have, that's just unfortunately a thing of the past. Ain't nobody got time for that anymore. Finger Slayer blade. Whoa, okay, that's interesting. Great Ghost Glovewort. The Finger Slayer blade looks like the one that's used by the Knight of the Black Knives. Knight of the Black Knives. The hidden treasure of the eternal city of Nokron, a blade said to have been born of a corpse. This blood-drenched fetish is proof of the high treason committed by the eternal city, and symbolizes its downfall. Cannot be wielded by those without a fate, but is said to be able to harm the greater will and its vassals. Okay, so this is the knife. I laughed as though, like, it was a joke. Oh yeah, that looks just like the blade that was used in the Knight of the Long Knives, but that is exactly what this is. The greater will and its vassals. So hold on, let me look up the definition of vassals. Vassal is a holder of land by feudal tenure on conditions of homage and allegiance. So in other words, someone who has their position by virtue of the greater will. So the demigods, and of course, yeah, this blade just like this was used to stab Godfrey, or was it Godwin? I think it's Godwin. Gosh darn it, let me look it up. I have a list of characters for a reason. Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. It was Godwin. Godwin, the Golden, the Exalted, Prince of Death, and first dead of the demigods. Godfrey was the first Elden Lord. King Consort Radagon, second Elden Lord. Okay, yeah. A very long list of characters. And it starts with the demigods. So, yeah, that is fascinating. And now, nowhere left to go but through this ending gate. So let's see where this takes us. Oh. Wow, so that's it. That's really it? Like, don't get me wrong, that's a very significant item. But still, I was expecting more. But yeah, as best as I can tell, we've done everything here. What the heck is this, though? Yeah, there was that whole area over there. Which I did not pursue because, like, the water level does not appear to allow it. However, it looks like I may have just missed all of this. Indeed. However, I don't know, are we just supposed to jump? I guess we're just supposed to jump from up there. That makes sense. Visions of comfort. Wow, yeah, so I'm really intrigued by this whole thing. Oh gosh darn it. Thank you, Torrent. Yeah, so I think after we're done here, the next thing we're going to need to do is another NPC Roundup, because the implications of us having this blade, I think, are very significant. Wow, Ghost Glove for level 5. We'll also have to upgrade our ashes at some point. Holy, wow, that's quite a lot of nascent butterflies. So yeah, it is pretty funny that I spent so much time arguing, essentially, that this was a place that was beyond the reach of those who live in death, and yet it appears to be the exact opposite, in the sense that... Wait, hold on. Try to avoid slippery horse movements as much as possible. Oh gosh darn it. No, no. Case in point. When in fact this seems to... Maybe it's not a place for those who live in death, but it is... No, this appears to be pointless. Yeah. But yeah, it appears to be an important place for the emergence of that plot. The plot which unfolded on the Night of the Black Knives. That turned out to be exactly what it was. So it does look like we need to go on that platform there. So, not quite pointless, but... Again, it's a good thing I don't always listen to myself, because I am often wrong. But nothing wrong with being wrong. I think if more people were comfortable with admitting when they were wrong, the world would be a much better place. Who are you? Guarding something. Oh. Hello. Oh, well played. Okay, I shouldn't be trying to parry her. Gosh darn it. Sorry, friend. Ancestral infant's head. Okay. So now we know the ancestral infant to which this headpiece is referring. Skull of a very young ancestral spirit. Just think how many sproutings it might bear. Uses FP to spray spirit vapor, inflicting magic damage. The vapor becomes a temporary geyser, which deals continuous damage to everything it touches until it disappears. So I suppose we've done everything here. So next, let's do an NPC Roundup. So as with the last Roundtable Hold, as with the last NPC Roundup, I'm going to just cut to wherever the next new interaction is. I'm not going to bother showing you things where there's nothing new that comes up. So yeah, I won't do my usual warping to this place, warping to that place, and, you know, explaining what I'm doing. I'm just going to cut to whatever the next interaction is, just to save time.
Ah, it was thee. Not blithe it seemeth. Even in my slumber I sensed it. It is in thy possession, is it not? The hidden treasure of Nokron. My thanks. Finally all the pieces are in place. Soon must I begin my journey. Upon the dark path only I may tread.
So we accidentally made Blythe look pretty bad, I'd say. Oh, don't worry. I'll be right along with you. Oh, I'm right behind you. You go. I'll catch up. I gotta. There's someone who betrayed me. I gotta take care of him. And then, yeah, I show up with the knife that she needed. So what is this plot? This dark path she's walking.
But before I leave, I must entrust thee with this. Take it.
Carian inverted statue.
My discarded flesh lieth beyond the seal unlocked by it, upon which is carved the curse mark of thy desire. I can fathom what thy purpose might be. Neither of us is welcomed by the brighter path, I see. You may leave now. It was but brief, but thou gavest me fine service.
So I wonder if we had gone to Celivis first, if he would have given us an option to betray her.
What is it? Thy purpose in approaching me was to obtain the curse mark, was it not? You may leave now. I too am to depart on a journey. Upon the dark path only I may tread.
So she was sleeping, waiting for us to... Yeah, I'm not sure I get it, because Blythe made it sound like General Radon was the one responsible for her being in the state she was in, the seemingly catatonic state she was in, but she was sleeping. She described it as her slumber, I think. And then we got the treasure, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm awake. He got the treasure." I'm not sure. Yeah. Statuette of a scholar with ground and sky inverted reveals the hidden form of the Carian study hall, which connects to the divine tower. Oh my gosh, finally. To unveil the secret, affix it to the pedestal of the celestial globe. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe we finally got it. Okay then. Why is it always death? Celivis's bell bearing, Preceptor's big hat, Preceptor's long gown, Preceptor's glove, and Preceptor's trousers. So, I guess Blythe did take him out. Preceptor Celivis's bell bearing found upon his perished flesh, offered to the twin maiden Huss at the Roundtable Hold to gain access to new items. A large hat with the movements of the stars drawn on the inside of the brim, worn by the magic preceptors who serve the Carian royals, increases mind to the detriment of stamina. Glintstone sorcerers are the descendants of astrologers, a fact that the Carians remain aware of, even if their fate has been long severed from the stars. Gloves of the magic preceptors who serve the Carian royals, black and perfectly discreet, so in other words, they're sneaky.
Oh, there you are. Good of you to drop by. Have you heard? Lady Rani has departed on her journey along the dark path of the Empyrean, from Rena's Rise, as she calls it. It would not have been possible without you. As Lady Rani's war counselor, and moreover, her childhood warden, I express my deepest gratitude. You, and only you, were Lady Rani's true champion.
All right then. Well, thank you.
My purpose is nearing its end. I've served Lady Rani for as long as I can remember. It has been a long and wondrous journey. Now Lady Rani is in your hands. I pray that you serve her well, unto the very end. Lady Rani, along the now, Lady, I pray.
Okay, so where's Blythe, friend? Ooh. Okay, she left a site of grace. Ronnie's chamber. Okay, to the Carian study hall then. Finally, after all these episodes. Okay, so everything shook. My suspicion previously... Whoa, okay. Okay, that's really disorienting, actually. It inverted the whole study hall. Okay, the world outside is still... Thankfully, it's normal. And it still looks the same from outside. Wow, okay. Gosh, I'm virtually out of time at this point for today's recording session. And yet, here we go. You can see the hand, friends. So yeah, this is giving me major Castlevania Symphony of the Night vibes. Wow, okay. This is quite something. What? Preceptor Miriam. One of Celivis's colleagues, I suppose. Oh. That might have been unwise of us to do. I was hoping that we could, like, trick her into just walking off the edge or something. Doesn't appear to be so easy. Okie dokie. Yeah, we definitely angered her for no reason. Mask of Confidence. Excuse me for 1 minute. I was expecting the water level to change. I was not expecting this. Mask with the mouth sewn shut with gold thread increases arcane. When Radagon married Rinalda, he ordered the Carian magic preceptors to don these masks, to make it clear that all of their matters were to be kept strictly private. Okay, so maybe that has... Whoa, you are right outside, aren't you? Well played. So... yeah, I'm just thinking about the whole idea of there being skeletons in Radagon's closet. Because this seems to be related to that. Gosh darn it. One more hit. Happily trade with you when you have no HP, basically. Get wrecked. Lucidity. Okay, we are going to want to jump down here as well, despite all the hands. This is, again, a really cool twist on this I was not expecting. I was expecting that the water level would change, because I couldn't conceive of any other way that we'd be able to get to the quote-unquote top of the study hall. Did not anticipate that the entire thing would become inverted, a la the inverted castle from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. But whereas that, at least, you know, I'm sure you can make an argument either way. It's been suggested that that was just a way of padding out the length of that game. Not that it really needed it, because it was a long enough game as it was. Certainly, you know, you could make an equally plausible argument that it was a great way to provide additional content for the game. But yeah, I was expecting the water level to change. Was not expecting it to somehow invert itself. So quite the twist. We have not in the publicly released episodes up to the date of recording reached the Carian study hall yet. Or have we? Yes, I believe we have, actually. It was one of the episodes that was recently released. And one of the episodes in which, yeah, I spent basically the entire time just wandering around going, where am I? Where do we go? What do we do? And so, yeah, hopefully for those of you who have stuck around all this time, you find it satisfying to see me finally actually exploring this place. What the heck is that? Things floating in the air. Okay, so are we supposed to hit these or something? No. I really don't want to drop down here. I'm scared. Oh. This is my least favorite form of platforming. Platforming on beams. Holy proof dried liver. Cured animal liver, dried out after pickling in a golden medicinal solution. Craftable item. Temporarily boosts holy damage negation, improving damage mitigation against attacks imbued with holiness. Okie dokie then. Are there any other items here? Of course there are. I would rather just move on, but I also can't ignore this item here, even though it's probably going to be crafting materials or something. Why is it always crafting materials? Wow, okay. So we have to hop down here now. And then this is going to be an elevator? Wow. Really, really cool, this. I'm quite impressed by the creativity of this whole thing. Although I'm sure someone's going to tell me in the comments that it was fully lifted from some other property. Which, yeah, I think is fine. So, is all of this to say that at the top of the Divine Tower is not going to be another set of fingers, it's going to be Ronnie's flesh? What is that going to look like? I suppose we're about to find out. We do have to go back to the start, because there's one additional thing. We didn't continue descending into that elevator shaft, so we should return to that after we're done this. There's the Divine Tower. Thank you, Grace. Liurnia Tower Bridge. What the heck? Oh, I guess it would have to be sort of a... I was wondering why they used the cinematic for the door opening animation, and I suppose the answer is that you can't go back, because then they would have to account for the possibility that you would go back down to the bottom of the tower, re-invert, or, uninvert the study hall, and then try to see how they would handle it. So, yeah, in other words, it just wouldn't work, hence the cloud cover as we approach. So, yeah, they had to make it so that it wasn't a normal door, but a door that you just couldn't. Whoa, who are you? You are new. Ouch, that hurts a lot, friend. Wow, this person is quite formidable. Can't parry them easily either. Also, do not appear to be able to backstab them. Okay, if you can parry them, it's quite difficult, so... Gosh, panic dodge is not working out. Well played. So this is like half lizard. We've not seen anything like this up to this point, unless this is supposed to be Ronnie's flesh. In which case, fair game flesh, because, yeah, quite formidable. Oh, gosh darn it, come on. Oh, got greedy there at the end, but paid off. Godskin Noble Hood. Oh, so that's a Godskin Apostle. Godskin Noble Robe. Or I guess a Godskin Noble more accurately. Wow, okay. Hood. Hood made by sewing together patches of smooth skin. Ugh, gross. Subcutaneous fat makes it plump and soft, worn by Godskin nobles. Nobles are the most ancient apostles, who are said to have assimilated inhuman physiology, not unlike the Crucible, the Erd Tree in its primordial form. What? Not unlike the Crucible, the Erd Tree in its primordial form. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, a robe made by sewing together patches of smooth skin. Subcutaneous fat makes it... Okay. 'Known for the 7 face aprons. Wow, okay. Again, fascinating. I was expecting that, I was like, oh yeah, we can summon torrents. It's going to be a rather uneventful march towards the Divine Tower. I had no idea we'd end up having to face one of those friends. And yeah, it's a good thing we didn't come across them earlier, because I feel like we would not have been nearly prepared for that. I've been talking for a while about how overleveled I am. That was the first encounter I felt was like, we were almost in trouble. Are you ready? Don't know that I am, but we're about to find out. Wow, look at this. Pretty sure the other Divine Tower looked the same, but it's still impressive. If not a bit gaudy. Yeah, well, waking up at 4:30 today was the best thing I've done in a while, I'll say. Nothing wrong with kicking off the midweek with a little early morning Elden Ring. Provided that it doesn't destroy me later in the workday, but I suppose we'll see. Divine Tower of Liurnia. Oh. I don't know why I'm stressed out. Like sighing and stuff here. I guess it's the heights. Maybe I am afraid of heights, who knows. So that's her flesh, I guess. So each of the Divine Towers then will have something different at the top. So I was thinking that they would all have different sort of fingers and whatnot. So this is Mount Gelmir, I think. That is the Altus Plateau. Behind the Erdtree is the Land of the Giants. Yeah, anyways, I'll stop stalling. Let's pick up the item. It's one of the rare item shinies. The gold and silver. See, there's like a bracelet there. She's got another bracelet around her other arm. She has a brooch. Curse Mark of Death. Stargazer Heirloom. Curse mark carved into the discarded flesh of Ranni the Witch, also known as the half-wheel wound of the centipede. This curse mark was carved at the moment of death of the first demigod and should have taken the shape of a circle. However, 2 demigods perished at the same time, breaking the curse mark into 2 half-wheels. Ranni was the first of the demigods whose flesh perished, while the Prince of Death perished in soul alone. Okay, yeah, there's a lot to process and unpack there, so I'm going to leave that for the moment. But my immediate reactions before we read this next one is that, yeah, we do need to face off against the Prince of Death soon, so that involves returning to the deep root place, deep root depths, whatever it was called. So yeah, I'm still evaluating where we should be going next, because I think, yeah, I'll return to that point in just a second. A talisman A talisman engraved with the legend of a queen raises intelligence. The young astrologer gazed at the night sky as she walked. She had always chased the stars every step of her journey. Then she met the full moon, and in time, the astrologer became a queen. So that was passed down to her by her mother. Speaking of which, let's see if she has anything to say.
Ah, thou, is it thy wish to yet again be born anew? Be not alarmed. I would...
Yeah. She appears to be almost like a vegetable at this point. So yeah, we do have to return to the study hall though, because we've yet to go into the elevator shaft that was here. Like, we went partially in, but not all the way in. And the reason... Oh, okay, never mind. Doesn't look like there's anything down there. No, okay, so that was pointless. Let's go back to the Site of Grace. Okay, I want to take this and then go speak to Rinola again, because I'm reminded of the fact that there is a chest there that's locked. So maybe, just maybe, this will somehow allow us to open it? I'm not sure. Okie dokie, let's head back. I suspect she's not going to have anything for us.
Ah, thou, is it thy wish?
No.
Be not, I would but...
Okay, sorry, friend. Ah, yeah, she's in rough shape. Locked. That remains a mystery. So what do we have on our list? I did want to go check up on Jarberg at some point. Ainsel Riverwell Depths. I think that might be the next place. Deep Shifra Well. Celia, okay. I need to revise this list a little bit. Let's head to the Roundtable Hold, I think. Is Brother Corin still there? Yeah, let's go to the Roundtable Hold. So, in other words, no one here is going to help us with this. I guess because it's sort of beyond the purview of the Roundtable Hold. So, what we really need to do is we really need to go face Godwyn. Yeah, I do wonder about whether that's appropriate progression-wise, though. Because obviously we still have the vast majority of Caelid to do. And then we also have to do the Ainsel Riverwell Depths. Alright, so it's now Saturday, March the 25th at 7:55 in the morning. And, yeah, I'm happy to report I did not screw up that meeting, so we're doing another very early morning recording session. So I have a list here to my left of things that came up in the previous recording session, and or things that I need to sort of clarify or things that I forgot to do. And among them is the fact that we picked up Great Ghost Glovewort. So, is this sort of like a Titanite slab? White flower that blooms in catacombs, a spirit nestles close to this grand specimen. Strengthens renowned ashes to +10. Since times of old, large gloveworts were used to comfort heroic spirits, given in tribute to those who died the most glorious of deaths, in the hope that their stories would become legend. And yeah, you can see there's what looks like a ghost there, to the left of the flower. Suppose that's present no matter what, but yeah, it's a little bit more. Actually, it's it's the same regardless. It's just the size of the flower which changes, so that's okay. So the next is the bell bearing for Celevis. Preceptor Celevis's bell bearing found upon his perished flesh. So yeah, no actual description there. I didn't think we'd read that. Oh no, I think it was this that I was thinking about. The bell bearing of a forager who once picked ghost glovewort flowers, offered to the twin maiden Huss at the Roundtable Hold to gain access to the following items. So ghost glovewort up to level 3. So I think this is a sign that we should just start upgrading ashes. I've been saying that for many episodes now, but yeah. Okay, so let's see what our twin maiden Huss friends have in store for these 2 bell bearings. Well, this one is actually rather obvious. As it says, it's going to give us the first 3 levels of Ghost Glovewort. And Celevis's bell bearing, I assume, will give us access to the ashes that, the puppet ashes that he was selling, but we've already purchased them, so we'll see. Oh, okay. I guess in addition to the ashes, he was selling the sorceries, which we obviously don't need. And it's interesting that, I guess it's just because, so these are associated with specific people who have died. Rip to Celevis D and Rogier, by the way. Whereas this is just the stuff that's a bit more generic, I suppose. Because I believe we also got something for smithing stones as well, which is why we can purchase those. So, yeah, good to know. Good to know, indeed. Okay, so I also have on my list, I have a few things. So, one of them is to check up on Celevis's puppets, because of course, Celevis has all of these puppets, and now he's dead, so I'm curious as to what will happen to them. Likewise with Sorceress Selen, because I suggested that Selen might, in fact, be one of Celevis's puppets. So we'll have to go check on both versions of Sorceress Selen. I also had a note about the Crucible being the Erd Tree in its primordial form. So, yeah, that is a revelation that I sort of glossed over in the previous episode, and I suppose I've still not fully processed it. It is 8 in the morning, so I'm sort of out of it, and not fully up to speed in terms of my mind capacity at the moment. But, I think that is potentially quite significant. The Crucible is the Erd Tree in its primordial form, because we've heard about the Crucible many times, but at no point was it said that it had anything to do with the Erd Tree. I don't believe. So the next thing on my list is the Curse Mark of Death. It's the half-wheel wound of the centipede. And so I sort of glossed over this earlier, but yeah, the significance of the centipede in Souls games, at least since Bloodborne, and probably since Dark Souls 1 at least, is well documented. We also have it as the golden centipede, which is a crafting material. But essentially, the idea is that centipedes are associated with impurity. In Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, centipedes were associated with the sort of immortality mechanic in that game, and that, likewise with impurity. And the whole idea being, I suppose, that death is a normal thing, and for something to live forever and to live repeatedly, there's a horrific aspect to that, we historically have not really necessarily thought about in all of our sort of futile searches for some way of living forever, of being immortal, of chasing the philosopher's stone, so to speak. So the centipede, so that's something to keep in mind, and the extent to which, because we know that everything having to do with the world, sort of, not everything, but many things having to do with the world after the shattering are associated with impurity, particularly grafting, and the kind of stuff that we see in the weapons that we've picked up, where corpse wax is being used to mend a weapon, a patchwork of champions, which, by the way, is something that, if I didn't mention it at the time, I'll mention it now. A patchwork of champions, that's essentially the Soul of Cinder from Dark Souls 3. Soul of Cinder was a patchwork of champions, a patchwork of chosen ones who linked the fire, chosen undead, I should say, who linked the fire. So yeah, that's an apt description, I think. Corpse wax. That whole idea just creeps me out. And then, going in and out of the pause menu here, another thing I wanted to flag is from Radahn's spear. And, I want to say that I glossed over something here. It's possible I'm misunderstanding the various sides in the conflict, but my understanding is that General Radahn was dispatched to Caelid to deal with the Scarlet Rot of Millennia. And this suggests, because he was, I believe, dispatched along with his Clean Rot Knights, so the knights that were dispatched along with Radahn to address the Scarlet Rot, the Clean Rot Knights. But this says that these are in fact the many spears with which General Radahn was stabbed by the Clean Rot Knights. So is that to say that General Radahn's own soldiers betrayed him? If so, yeah, he's even more tragic than I originally thought. For the next item on my list, actually I think that's everything, save for the whole Celavis's puppets thing. So, let's go see if we can figure this out. Okay. Oh, leave me alone, puppet friends. So, still offer gesturing. What? I can't tell if these messages are just being lewd, or if those are legitimately supposed to be clues. Yeah, I'm not sure.
There you are, my apprentice. Shall we commence the lesson?
Gosh, do we just need to purchase all the stuff she has? Okay, what I think we'll do at some point is we'll come back and we'll just purchase all of these, but I don't know if I want to, sit here and pop runes for 5 minutes in order to do that, so we're just going to leave that for now. Okay, let's go see if we can. I don't remember exactly where Celivis's puppets were, but let's go have a look and see if we can find them.
Stop, please stop. You're my puppet. I loved you with all I have. How could you forget such bliss? Ah, that hurts. Please, I beg you, cease this cruelty.
Okay, it's Pydia? They're Pydia's puppets? What? Whoa. Wow, okay. Well done, friends. Good job standing up for yourselves. Hope you don't mind if I loot this corpse here. Pydia's bell-bearing Dolores the Sleeping Arrow Puppet. One of Celivis's favorite puppets, used to summon the spirit of Dolores the Sleeping Arrow, spirit of a handsome archer who dressed in the style of a man. Called the Silent Hunter by some, she fires St. Trina's arrows from her short bow. Dolores once belonged to the Roundtable Hold, where she was both a critic and a friend of Gideon the All-Knowing. It was because of her that he and Celivis went their separate ways. So is this supposed to be a reference to Ferris from Dark Souls 1? Because, yeah, it was said that... I don't remember if it was said that Ferris dressed like a man, or if it was that the legend of Ferris was that of a man, even though it was actually a woman. I can't remember the specifics of it, but I think it might be the latter. And yeah, the bell-bearing items don't actually seem to have any lore associated with them. They do have unique item illustrations, so there is that, but nothing really beyond that. Ah, chaos. Okay, friends, I guess they make it so that you can't attack anything here, so that you're just here to observe. But it is pretty amazing, the fact that they murdered Pydia, but they're not hostile to us. Well, good for you, friends, for standing up for yourselves. Yeah, I guess this is the reason why I never came back to Pydia. because you would have thought they would have a ladder here or something so that you could just climb up, but no. Unless I'm missing something and there is some sort of shortcut or something that we could open, but it doesn't look that way. I wonder if we sit at the bonfire, if they'll still be here. This site of grace, rather. They are indeed. Yeah, I really do not remember. Suppose I could go look back at some old footage to figure it out. I don't remember where the heck Celavis is. He had a dungeon, and there was a message in the dungeon that said, Celavis's puppets don't touch. And I want to say it was somewhere here. But I do not remember. Oh, this might be it. This is indeed it. Oh, what the heck? Okay, my assumption is that in order to advance this aspect of the quest line, we need to actually, you know, because I don't think we actually finished Celavis's quest line one way or the other. I think because of how we advanced the game by getting our hands on that blade in Nokron, we don't know. So we ended up giving that blade to Ronnie, didn't we? That's annoying. We have 4 of these we can go give to Garank at some point. Gosh, so many things to do. I thought maybe with Celavis dying, it would have freed his puppets. The mystery remains then. Are all of his puppets women? And this, Capra Demon friend. Okie dokes, I guess that's that, because yeah, I'm not really sure where to go with all of this, because we've not, for some time, seen Blythe. And Blythe said he was going to deal with a traitor. My assumption is that Blythe murdered Celavis. So last time we spoke to Celavis, of course, he was planning some sort of treachery. And we were supposed to get him gold starlight shards. But of course, we went and we completed Nokron, which I imagine was the trigger point for... Okay, I'm getting really annoyed with this friend. Which I imagine was the trigger point for his death. That if by that point you haven't advanced his quest line to where it needs to be, then yeah, he's dead, basically. So, I guess that will be a mystery to be resolved in future playthroughs. Maybe I'll tack on to the end of this playthrough a New Game Plus run or something like that, where I'll just show the highlights of like certain things that I didn't do this time around. I don't know. That's something to think about, but given how many hours this and how many episodes this playthrough is on pace to do and to involve, yeah, that's a subject for exploration on at a much later date. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother anymore with you. Oh gosh darn it, except that I can't warp anywhere. Gosh darn it. How? That friend is nowhere near us. Please don't tell me I have to save quit. Thank you. Okay, so we have to go back to the Roundtable Hold.
Greetings. Are you here for spirit tuning?
I am here for spirit tuning for once. So. Oh crud, I need more runes.
Greetings. Are you here for spirit?
Okay, so we're just gonna pull the trigger, I think. Special ashes. I'm very tempted to upgrade the mimic tier. Someone did leave a comment, however, saying that Latenna the Albinaric has the highest DPS, damage per second, of any of the ashes, or at least maybe they meant of any of the ashes we had access to at that point in time. And I can see why that would be. And so we've not found her very useful, but that's also because we've not upgraded her at all. So it might be worth actually just pouring some levels into her. But again, it's pretty cool having two regrets. So yeah, but we'll go with Latenna. All the way up to level 4. Do we keep going? Yeah, let's keep going. Alrighty. And then we have our basic ashes, which I really don't know what to do. I feel loyalty to Jellyfish Friend, but I do enjoy our Raya Lucaria soldier friends, though. Okay, we'll do one of each. Oh, we have more dialogue.
I feel like I'm really coming to grips with spirit tuning of late. I can see how and why immortal essence exists, a spirit under the Golden Order. I can understand their yearnings, what they become drawn to. Master Hugh said it himself, actually, that I'm no mere apprentice any longer. Once again, I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. Roderica, the certified spirit tuner.
Well, congratulations on getting your CST designation, friend. That's Certified Spirit Tuner. Hello, I'm Roderica, CST. Yeah, a good one. Was her name Roderica Spirit Tuner before? I don't think it was. Well, I'm very proud of you, friend. Good job. Well done. Where's our curtsy? That's amazing. Okay, one other thing I wanted to see. Okay, that's not as good as I was expecting it potentially to be. Okay, that's frightening. Also frightening. Yep. So this outfit looks like in Game of Thrones, the television series. I don't know, to what extent it's accurate to how they're described in the Song of Ice and Fire books, but the priestesses, I guess, of the seven, what were they called? The Silent Sisters, I think. The female religious order people of the Faith of the Seven who were responsible for preparing bodies, at least those of like the royal, whenever there was a royal funeral, you saw these people in the background sort of spreading incense everywhere and whatnot. And preparing, doing all the ritual sort of stuff in and around a funeral service, essentially for kings and royal servants. I'll see if I can put a picture on the side of the screen so you can see what I mean. But yeah, it has those two sort of like protrusions, horns, sort of. I'm not sure how to describe them at the top. And it looks just like this. I don't know to what extent that's intentional or if they're both perhaps referencing a common thing. Okay, that's frightening. You can see the liquid metal aspect of it. God, I love this headpiece. Just wish the hair wasn't so big. Although maybe we'll go... Okay, yeah, we'll go see if Bok can... Because if Bok can remove the hair, this would be a great headpiece to wear. So, yeah, we'll go and do that in just 1 minute. Let me just look at my list here. We have to go hand in a bell bearing. Okay, I don't think there's anything new here. I think this is all stuff that we saw previously and passed up previously. Okay, let's go see Bok. Hi friend, long time no speak.
Bok the seamster, at your service, master. Ready to make adjustments to your garments.
Oh no, what do we have to apologize for? Okay, there's quite a few armor sets that we could... so to alter this one, you'd remove the coverings from the eyes. That's interesting. That would remove the cape. Also removing the cape. Yeah, so... Okay, what are we apologizing for?
Master, my apologies. Your wardrobe includes the garb of the old demigods, and I'm afraid I can't make adjustments to them. My mum told me once that a royal seamster would do them up in a jiffy. Just wait, master. Before long, I'll be that good too.
You almost certainly could be. Here's a gold sewing needle. So the whole playthrough, I've been treating the options on the left as though they're things that the player character is saying to the other NPCs, or to the NPCs. But more often it seems like it's things that the NPCs are saying to us. So, yeah. But I feel like it's kind of inconsistent because in this case, it's not like... The NPC's not saying, here, give me that golden needle. It's us saying, give the gold. So, yeah, anyways, it's inconsistent, I think.
Is that a gift for my undeserving self? thank you kindly. But what on earth could it... Oh, amazing. I've never seen a golden needle. Not in all my life. With a spectacular royal crest to boot. Are you certain that this is for me?
It is indeed.
I can hardly believe it. Have faith in me, Master. I'll polish my craft enough that I deserve this golden gift. I'll be the golden seamster, Bok. Now I'll be able to sew anything. Even the threads of the demigods.
So yeah, to be able to progress his quest line, I guess we needed to purchase and wear demigod armor. So there we go. That works for me. Stumbled upon it, but I'll take it. Surely your mom would be happy for you, I imagine. So again, I think this is us saying that to him.
Do you think that Mum would be pleased if she knew that I'm as good as any royal seamster now? Oh, it's still not enough. I need to learn how to sew from scratch like her.
Wow, his really high expectations, his mother. Jeez. That's, yeah. Oh, okay. So, we can't alter the headpiece, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know why. I would not... I like the cape, though. That's part of the problem. But I wonder... if he alters something, can I alter it back? Let's see. He can, okay. So, let's see how it looks. No, I guess we can't. Gosh darn it. Okay, let's see how it looks. No, that is so... it loses a lot of its luster without the cape, I think. Please give us our cape back. Thank you. Okay, thanks, Bonk friend.
Oh, going so soon? Please do be safe on your journeys.
Alrighty then. So next, I said we were gonna go give some death root to Garank. Let's go do that now. It has been many episodes since we've been here. We'll just go with one for now. Just, yeah.
More. I'm not sated. Feed me more. Death.
Bestial Sling. Incantation taught by Garank, the beast clergyman, swiftly flings a number of sharp rock shards. This incantation can be cast without delay, after performing another action. It is said that in the time before the Erdtree, stones were the first weapons of the beasts who had gained intelligence. So something else. Gosh darn it, I had something else that I wanted to talk about with respect to the death root. But I cannot remember what it was in reference to. Yeah. So, because I did not write it down, so I'll have to come back to that.
More. I'm not sated. Feed me more. Death.
Bestial Vitality. Incantation taught by Garank, the beast clergyman, fills the body with bestial vigor, restoring HP over a period of time. Having gained intelligence, the beasts must have felt how their wildness slipped away as civilization took hold.
Strange. There's something else. But the death yet quenches. Bring more.
Ash of War, Beast's Roar. This Ash of War grants an armament the Keen affinity and the following skill. Beast's Roar. Unleash a beastly roar, rending the air as a forward-traveling projectile. Usable on all melee armaments. Okay, and last death root, friend.
More. I'm not sated. Feed me more. Death.
Oh. Okay, I guess the next one is a few levels away. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. Okie dokie. This makes me want to return to the Four Belfries. Wonder, is that the same model as the gargoyles we fought elsewhere? I don't think so, because this one has like a human skull, unless the other one also did, and I just did not register that fact. Alright, screw it, let's do it. Okay, I don't remember which one it was. Because yeah, I'm very curious to learn more about the beasts. And Crumbling Farum Azula seems to be, I would imagine anyway, the place to do that. Indeed. And part of the reason I had this place in mind is that on the date of recording, the episode that's being released today is the episode in which we first came across Crumbling Farum Azula. It does look like a massive area, but at the same time, okay, so this, I believe that's the giants, the area for the giants. This is the closest we might have seen it at the time, but I wasn't fully able to process everything. So I pointed out at that point in time that this appears to be sort of where the world ends. That insofar as it's not flat, it almost seems like it's flat, but insofar as it's not, it's just a massive waterfall. So yeah, the laws of physics are broken down somewhere here. Okay, what gear do we have on? Oh, they still have tons of HP, don't they? Ouch. Gosh darn it. Okay, I don't know if we're going to survive this. Oh. They hit quite hard. Maybe we should use a rune arc. Let's give us a little bit of extra HP. Because these beast friends are tough. They really are quite formidable. Okay, did those beastler pots just completely ignore them? Gosh darn it. Oh my goodness. You know, it really serves me right for thinking that I could just tack this on to the end of an episode. That, like, there was a scenario in which I could just quickly do this area. It just serves me right. Gosh darn it. Yeah, because, my goodness, these friends are, I don't know how to... They're quick, they're strong, you're good at dodging. Wow. So we might just end up coming back here in a future episode. And dedicating an entire episode to making it through this area, because I honestly don't see how. What I was trying to do there was sneak around at least one of them so that they're not aggroed at the same time. See if we can poison him. Okay. I think they're poisoned. Or are they? Gosh darn it, I don't think... Are they? I think they are. I thought I was so clever with the beast lure pots. I thought that was going to make a difference. But they don't appear to be susceptible to that at all. Please hold still for a second, beast friend. Don't know if they're even susceptible to poison. So the frame rate. I've had several comments lately from people saying things like, you know, I don't know why Aegon is always complaining about the frame rate. I've, you know, played this game X number of times and I've never had any issues with the frame rate. So out of curiosity, I mentioned in earlier episodes that I was avoiding anything related to Elden Ring on YouTube, and that remains true. However, I figured I was far enough along in the game at this point to be able to watch something like Digital Foundry's tech review of the game without risking spoilers, because they released this tech review, I want to say, the first week probably the game was out. So it's about a year old at this point. Has the game actually been out for a year? I suppose it has. And, you know, because I just wanted to say, I was like, is there something wrong with my PlayStation 5? The fact that I'm always dropping frames, or, you know, that the frame rate is not a consistent 60. And yeah, I watched at least the first half of the video. I didn't watch the full video because, yeah, there are various points where I was like, oh my god, is that something I've seen? And I'm, oh yeah, of course, that's like, everything was just sort of from the first area of Limgrave, and then there was some like Stormville Castle and stuff, so more or less what you would expect from a video that was released within the first week of the game being released. And gosh darn it, that friend is not cooperating. And yeah, I don't want to say I'm happy to report, but I do feel vindicated a little bit, because the thesis of the video was essentially, yeah, the game it just doesn't play at a locked 60. It's just not a thing the game does. That like almost from the outset, the game, PS5 is slightly better than Xbox Series S and X. Thank goodness. But the game simply just does not play at a consistent 60 frames per second. And what's more, and you know, I stopped watching the video before they addressed this point, but there's not just the frame rate, but also the issue of frame timing. And the frame timing, that's something that historically in FromSoft games has been a major issue. That the number of milliseconds it takes to draw each frame is inconsistent. So it creates a sort of a juddery look, such that even if the frame rate itself is very high, there are smoothness issues. Like, it's not smooth necessarily to play. I want to just jump down and fight this one friend, but oh, you know what? If we're going to be cheesing them from a distance, there's no reason we should not have. Although now we're going to have to use a rune arc because we're fat rolling otherwise. And now we are medium rolling. Okay. So yeah, if we're going to be cheesing this friend with a bow, might as well be maximizing the damage. That's much better. No. Gosh darn it. So yeah, in other words, and you can see it when you turn around and look at this. Like, we're just staring at a wall here. So it's basically 60 frames per second. But then look at what happens when we turn around. It just, and maybe it's a lot harder to see when you're just watching a video, but when you're actually playing the game, it's extremely noticeable. At least it is to me. Okay, this will potentially do higher damage than, because they don't appear to be susceptible to poison anyway, so let's see. 394. Gosh darn it, now every time we're going to have to wait until they chain back to their spot. Massive pain in the rear of this. Darn it. The other issue with this is that if we actually manage to defeat this friend, there's going to be more. These are not going to be the only two pieces in the area, so maybe this is a lost cause at this point. But yeah, the area, it looks massive, but there have been other areas that have looked massive, but when you're playing, you play through them, they don't actually end up being that large. Nokron Eternal City is a good example of that, I think. Gosh darn it. The sad thing is, I think it would actually be quicker to hit him with an arrow, save quit, hit him with an arrow, save quit, hit him with an arrow, save quit. Gosh darn it. Okay, should we try? It would be very cheeky. But we're being cheeky enough as it is. Alright, let's try. Actually, it might not even spawn us on this platform if we save quit, so that might not be a great idea. This episode is going to end with such an anticlimax. Me coming to Crumbling Farum Azula and then just failing. Okay, I think he's close enough at this point. I'm scared though. Okay, here goes nothing. Where did he go? There he is. We did it! Yay! Several months later. I think we were last here in October. So it's been a long time. My goodness. Now watch, I'm just gonna fall to my death anyway. Don't tell me that's it. Don't tell me I just spent like 20 minutes cheesing those friends for nothing. No. Seriously? Is this just a preview? That would make me very upset. Pearl Drake Talisman. Oh, we already got the +1 version. Oh my goodness. I'm upset. Why is it always like it's a dream? Time for despair indeed. Wow, okay. That's dreadful. Okay, well, I guess that's as good a time as any other. So thank you all very, very much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.